Something that I have been working on lately is doing Red Muspelheim solo, hopefully with no devs. No devs part is a bit of a tall order, especially for Blade, because as his thirst meter, fills up, he always is going to lose his health naturally. Like, if you ever play Blade, then you know what I'm talking about. There are times where you just walk into a completely avoidable attack, and you just fall over dead. Just like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and try this anyway. And even if I die, well, at least I'll have a solo Red Muspelheim run, recorded, and uploaded to YouTube for posterity's sake. Anyway, sentries are pretty easy for the most part. These are just mostly like they're just basically slightly sturdier, just basic enemies out here. There's not a lot to them. I think the only thing worth noting is that the floor is quite literally lava. Like those bright orange spots, they're not for just decoration, they will actually hurt you over time. And I did lose a practice run. Well, I just died on a practice run, I should say. From just walking onto one of those, and I had no health displayed, which is super embarrassing. Although really, if you're playing in a group, dying here does not mean a whole lot. You don't lose much for it. You just have to respawn and do the walk of shame back, which, I mean, to be fair, you kind of look really silly, and that's the worst thing in any online game, I think. But, I mean, if you can get past the fact that it's a little embarrassing and your ego is a little bruised and you have to deal with the fact that everybody totally saw you just bollocks it up, and, well, I mean, yeah, it's perfectly fine other than that. I'm going to go ahead and use my serum right there, and I'm going to try to hopefully get some stocks back. The reason for this is because when the twin debuff comes in, I want to like hit them with the 10 stocks, the full like blast signature. Just right from the get-go, before the stacking debuff can affect me. Whoops.
Okay, but I warn you, I have a throbbing headache right now.
Well, I probably have 10 stacks, right? I'm just going to assume I do. It's possible I don't. Alright. The nice thing also is that I get all my ammunition refilled when I go through that portal as well. So, my strategy for the twins is, that I'm going to use here, is going to be the same that I used in the previous video, where I soloed them as Black Widow. I'm going to go to the centre, I'm going to wait for the mobs to spawn, which they spawn at 9:30 on the counter. Then I'm going to go ahead and take the buff. I'm going to go kill Hellfire first. Normally, when you have 14 or 50 stacks of the buff, you rotate clockwise. And like the other boss, the debuff falls off. I can't do that here. If I try to, then whatever boss I'm not fighting will regenerate health. It's like 1% per second or something like that. It's very, very quick. So I'm never going to be able to kill them if I do that. Also, I just serumed early on the signature, but that's okay. That looks like I'm gonna go both off, maybe. Anyway. Regardless, my strategy here is simply that I am going to stay on the boss, because I have to do them one at a time, like I just said. And when this runs out, in 20 seconds or so, I am going to just grab a fresh one. If you into the centre and bar really quickly, then you don't have to worry about the boss regaining health. And I'm going to, as you can see, also medkit my way through the meteor. Pretty simple. Anyway, back up here, grab a buff, and onto the boss again. I'm probably going to have to grab another one after this also, but that's not a big deal. It's totally fine. But there's not a lot to say here, like I talked about in the previous video, but because I am solo, these red circles, they don't really do anything. Get away from your allies just mostly means that if I'm standing near another player, I'm going to be hurting them, and in turn hurting myself. I just got killed. But I'm solo, it doesn't affect the team up, it doesn't affect the Electra summon that comes in, so really I can just ignore those. But as for the green meteors, there's not really a problem either, because there's a lot of ways to deal with them. As I've demonstrated in that previous video, the easiest way is to use a medkit with invulnerability on it for the shield. The shield, I guess, is not invulnerability technically anymore, but it's invulnerability. So I can use that, and I'm just not going to get hurt. Then the entire course of the first 2 seconds, so I can just tank the meteor that way. And if I don't have my medkit, and what I can do instead is when the timer hits 0, I can just dash twice. And because your dash has iframes on it, you're just not going to get killed. You're just going to take 0 damage. Which is pretty cool. But the same tactic here for Brimstone. I am simply going to just stay on him, beat him up until my buff wears off, and just go grab a new buff. So super simple, takes about 3 minutes on plate. Which also says a lot, by the way, because that Black Widow video, it took me about, I think, 12 minutes, like almost twice as long to kill these bosses on her than on him. Like, I kind of want to point that out for everybody who says, like, every hero is good with high infinity points. Like, yes, you can do anything, I can do any content that Black Widow, but compared to like what I can do to top tier hero, the gap is still there, it doesn't magically close itself. And unfortunately in other heroes, like the gap between the haves and have-nots, those who are at the top and the bottom of the DPS food chain, if you will, there's just a huge difference between them. Anyway, dash, that's what I'm talking about. I say you can just dash twice when the timer hits 0. It's not that difficult. It might take you a little bit of practice if you want to do it that way, but it's ultimately not that hard. Nice. And my one death there to Hellfire. This one is going pretty smoothly, I think. I am not going to serum up, I'm just going to throw it there. So, the boss after this one is Slag. Slag is a massive, like, DPS chuck. Like, it's not even funny. Like, if you were to try to do this yourself, getting past these twins is not that difficult, it's not that bad. Slag, though, requires killing him in about 3 minutes. The reason for that is because I can't go and protect the prisoners. I have to kill him before the prisoners start dying. Because, like, when a prisoner dies, Slag gets a massive amount of defenses damage reduction. And he also gets 50% of his health back. If all the prisoners are dead, then... got an achievement for that. If all the prisoners are dead, you literally cannot hurt him. It is not possible. It's not like something like the twins debuff, where you can still, like, your crits and brutals will still, like, basically do enough damage to go through the debuff. No, he just will not take any damage whatsoever. So, I'm going to play the range build for Slag here because I want to stay mobile while being able to do DPS and not have to worry so much about my health. If I have to respawn, that's obviously really, really bad because, I mean, that's time wasted that I just do not have when it comes to fighting him. So another thing to keep in mind is that, like, I know this looks pretty good so far, like, oh, he's at 55% health, and all the prisoners, they still have green health. But I want you to remember that because I'm not clearing out the monsters by the prisoners, they're just building up and accumulating. That back half of the prisoner health goes very, very quickly, especially compared to, like, the front half of it. It's, like, it gets kind of scary. Like, you're going to see they're going to turn yellow pretty soon now. And then once they turn yellow, they go red very quickly. Okay. But, I mean, I'm on schedule here. Should be able to kill Slag in time, even though range build is just less DPS overall. The one thing though is that Blade Signature just always does a lot of damage no matter what, and that's just my main vehicle here to deal damage to this boss. I could probably have the signature hit him 2 more times and he's dead. See, prisoners just went red. That took hardly any time at all, so... There we go. Dead. Not too bad. Also going to switch back to the melee build. That is the only boss that I will be killing with the ranged build. So, Monolith. Monolith is super simple. The mechanics behind this are that you're supposed to defend the 2 NPCs, Wolfstag and Frandral. I'm not Nordic, I apologise terribly for not being able to pronounce these names. You're supposed to protect them, but I don't know, through, like, maybe it's scaling over time or tuning issues or something. They're going to be just fine. I'm not going to go help the other NPC, and he's going to be perfectly fine. He can go ahead and take care of himself. But my strategy is going to be simply that I'm going to grab the buff and yellow archer. I'm going to slow walk the fire giant to the centre. Then I'm going to fire my signature backwards through the monolith, hopefully hit the fire giant, kill the fire giant, and sort of deal damage that way. But the funny thing about this is that just by the NPCs being alive, they actually deal damage to the monolith over time. So, like, you don't actually have to deal that much damage to the monolith, is the truth, because, yeah, the NPCs will do most of it for you.
Your fate is sealed.
I have a bit of a theory that, like, if I just stand by the entrance to this encounter and do nothing, I have a theory that's possible to win. We'll get very, very close to it, but if I want to test that, I unfortunately have to go through, like, all of the rest of the raid, and considering how easy this encounter normally is, I feel a little silly if I just failed it right there because of that. Anyway, sitting here was waiting for my medkit to come back up, because I want to be able to approach this safely. Signature out, kill a few fire giants. Pretty simple. So you can see, like, The other guy, Frandral, is perfectly fine. He still has green health, even though he's taking, like, who knows how many those blue archers. I will say also that the funny thing about this encounter, if anything, is that it's almost easier to do it solo. Because I can control exactly like what the fire giants are doing, where they're going when they die. I don't have to worry about that like incident that happens when you play in a group. You might be like running to the center of your fire giant, but then like you just show up there and another one blows up in your face and just kills you without warning. So, I mean, that's rather nice. Anyway, the third part of it, and if you look at the Monolith health, it starts becoming very obvious that, like, they do a lot of damage to the Monolith. I'm not really going to have to do much to the Monolith in this phase. I think all I'm going to really do is just grab one buff. Then I'm going to go auto it. And that'll be all I have to do. It's the button. There's the button. I'm not very good hitting you with my left hand if it wasn't obvious. So I want to use my ultimate early. Because if it's still firing when the Monolith dies, then like I don't get it back for the next raid boss. But I'm not doing anything. Boss is at 6% there, 5%. 4, 3, 2, 1. Dead. It's actually that easy. Right. So, next encounter is the sisters. And they're pretty annoying. So their gimmick is that their health is linked, you only have to kill a single one. Well, they also have massive like damage reduction on them. So you can see like, this just kind of drags it out, like I'm not hitting this boss very hard at all. But it's a pretty straightforward fight. If anything, the most annoying part of it all is just that it takes so long. You know, it's pretty easy. I think that this fight is the other bottleneck for trying to solo this, because I think some builds just cannot do it. Like I tried with some of the road build, and ran into the unfortunate incident where I can't control when my summons attack, and if they could have just like hit all of these like the little wing demons, then they're not hitting the boss, and my damage per second is just not that good on the boss. So, yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Plus, the other mild challenge, and something you don't know if you're playing a group really, is that, like, if you don't kill the ads here, you just ignore them completely, they can really add up. Like, you can get like, just an utter room full of them. It's super annoying, but as long as you're killing them, kind of keeping them in check, at least, just not completely ignoring them, then you're fine. Also got slowed there, which is really annoying. But it's just a lot of hitting the boss. Fighting for the up and downs, it's not very thrilling stuff. Got blown up. Should have been paying more attention. I think really the only strategy I can comment on here is that whenever the boss comes down, I want to try to hit the fire giant and I want to hit the sister at the same time with my signature. Just get a 2-4, knock them out. Now I don't have to waste so much time hitting the giant, anything like that. the other kind of annoying thing is that this boss has like a really small hitbox. So it's entirely possible just to whiff like a thin attack, like you're probably going to see it. I don't know if I've done it yet, I don't think I have. You're probably going to see me like whiff at least one signature on the boss, if I had to guess. But hopefully it won't take too much longer. I will say though, that there's an unintentional bottleneck at this boss as well, in that the health is not always perfectly synced. It is entirely possible, and I've had this happen to me, but the boss just, because they're not synced, I can be in a situation where I killed the one in my room, but there's like maybe one still left remaining, alive. And there's nothing I can do about that. I can't leave, because if I do, then because the instance is empty, it will reset. So it's not like I can leave and just go kill like another one, like whoever is still alive. I'm not yet 100% sure like what I can do about that to counter it. But I think like, the best method I can do is I want to use like my signature to do it, because that's just big chunky damage. So if I apply like a few thousand damage maybe, kind of counter it that way, but that's for like a few percentage points from there. It's not an exact science, though it's entirely possible I'm just making things worse. So 90%, hopefully, this is the last up and down we have to do. I'm hoping. But yeah, seriously not much to say about this boss, it just drags on and on. It almost takes as long to kill this boss as it does Surtur, as like the annoying thing. I'm doing well in Surtur, like I do him in about 7 minutes, so... Anyway. Mostly just like stuck waiting for my signature here to try and do some damage. 7%, hopefully. That's all that's needed, if I can just maybe hit her 2 more times with my signature and be good. Nope, 3%, it's just hard to go. How to do it one more time, you absolute bugger. As long as I don't walk into like one of the exploding bubbles again, I'll be fine with it though. Okay, that works.
There's darkness in your soul.
I think I like stepped on the boss and killed her, which is kind of funny. So all that's left now is Surtur. Surtur is pretty straightforward. All I do have to do is worry about the portals that open up at the 40-minute mark and then every 3 minutes after that. And they open up like clockwork, so whether you're ready or not, they will be there waiting for you. Which means that if you take a long time, I say if I take a long time, really, fighting the rematches, then I could just instantly end up like in another boss encounter straight away. But, I mean, this is pretty simple for this part. When Surtur like points his sword down like that, he will always wag his tail 5 times. And on the 5th tail wag, that is when he will do the sword slam attack. I'm also going to preserve my stacks here because the portal's about to open. There it is. Going to put Jessica away. So I have a trick for this boss. And the trick is that he cannot see through stealth. Most raid bosses can, he cannot for some reason, so I'm just going to sit here and just teabag him for free, basically. And there's nothing he can really do about it. I will be very briefly, like, visible to him, because of the nature of, like, the stealth here. Sometimes. But as long as I don't pop my serum, then my health is going to stay low. And I can keep triggering the invisibility on the catalyst over and over again. It's actually pretty simple. It works on most bosses. It doesn't work on most raid bosses, except this is the exception I found so far. Go. So you'd never know it if you're playing online. But the gimmick to Surtur is that every time you kill a rematch boss, he actually gets more skills and attacks he can use against you. Like, that giant was not something he was summoning before, for example. Regardless, though, Surtur is just not very threatening overall. As long as you shoot, because he doesn't really like attack you, like, directly head on very much. As long as you're just not getting killed by the sword slam, then you're perfectly fine. It's really hard to, like, lose this fight. I mean, I guess if, like, you hit the enrage timer, he will start one-shotting you, I think, with everything, is the way his enrage capture works. But as long as you don't run into that situation, then yeah, he's pretty free for the most part. Really, what I'm just going to try to do here is just deal as much damage as I can before the other portal shows up, which is in a few seconds here. I want to get him nice and low, just so I don't have to deal with him. Anyway, portal's here. It's been 3 minutes. My strategy for this boss counter is simply that I want to drag them as close together as possible. That way, hopefully when I hit them, I fire my signature off, and I just use AoE attacks in general. I'm going to hit both of them, and it doesn't quite take so long to kill them both. But in theory, I kill them twice as fast if I do that, right? Makes sense. Fortunately also, they just don't have a lot of health either. Like, I'm mostly going to wipe them out in just a few uses of my signature here. Which, I know it's blade signature, but still. There we go, you're dead. Apparently the meteor's still on me. There we go. By the way, this guy gets the meteor also now. Though his is a lot less threatening. Just doesn't seem to do as much damage, which is kind of interesting, I thought. But I basically have just a few minutes here to try to take him out. Because the next encounter I have to worry about is going to be the rematch with the sisters. And the massive damage reduction is still present, even though there's only one of them. So that takes a long, long time to finish off. Like, when I said earlier about the portals and how they don't wait for you, that 100% applies in that situation. If I have to deal with the sister rematch, there's a good chance that, like, I'm going to have to also, like, I'm just going to get sucked into, like, the Monolith straight away. And that's certainly not what I want to deal with, even though the Monolith fight is very, very quick with Blade. all I have to do is basically just use my signature twice and I kill it. But I don't want to have to deal with that. It's a waste of time if I have to do the sisters, so... It's just a matter of, like, I'm going to try to get it all out here and hopefully kill him in time. Though, it's looking a little bleak, to be honest with you. So I do not have much time left on my decanter here. This might be a situation I have, like, where I go into the portal and he has, like, maybe 2% health or something. 11%. This is not looking so good. I don't want to go. I was about 1 second off from getting that. That's okay though. Just means we have more time to band together. Okay. This is more or less the same thing that I did last time, but at least the boss has less health. But it's going to take most of this 3 minutes to kill her, which is rather annoying. Luckily, since again, I was one signature activation away from just not having to think about it like at all. So this is pretty straightforward, it's just the same thing. Just gonna say here, hopefully Jessica can handle most of the ads for me. Yeah, she's doing a good job just tanking them up. I'm gonna keep them under control and just do not die. I say that as I walk into a bubble and almost get blown up. Again. But, I'm lucky then we don't have to do another up and down here. With this stupid bird. You can see also that, like, the next portal arrives at the 5-minute mark. And I'm at the... yeah, we're getting really close to that. So there's a good chance I have to do the Monolith rematch also. Which is not what I really want to do. That's okay. We'll get through it. Okay, I have 30 seconds to kill you, basically. But I don't have the signature yet. But, I mean, if I just get the signature, then either... Are you dead? Still alive. There we go. Okay. So that was what? A 1 death run, I think. Not too bad. I don't think it was my best run ever, but... I mean, there's Red Muspelheim for you. Done solo. Kind of fun in a way, actually.